Man, this is awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you to the Packers Hall of Fame. Everybody that has something to do with this, man. I'll tell you, man. Al said it best. Humbled and honored to be here. First of all, thank you to my family who made it here. They flew up from Orlando, got stuck in Chicago. Flight got canceled, but they got in the car. They made it up here anyway. My sister, who some of you heard me talk about in my Hall of Fame speech a couple of weeks ago, she's here, feeling good, she's healthy, and she's a part of this, man. She's always, said, through the course of this entire year, she's like, hey, man, I'm not missing anything. And just so happened that, unfortunately, she couldn't make it a couple weeks ago, but she's here now, so I love you. I love you. Thank you, of course, to my mom. I know what y'all thinking. Y'all see my mom, he's going to sing and he's going to cry. I'm not going to do it tonight, y'all. I'm not going to cry tonight. This is great. Flea. You see why I picked Flea to be my presenter, right? I mean, he ran down, my life and, where I come from and how I came up, probably better than I could have done it. Flea was the guy that I mentioned earlier to the media that, you hear the story of Humpty Dumpty and not being able to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Well, Flea did a phenomenal job of putting me back together on many of occasions. Speaking of a year where I broke my toe in the first game, and, I go into the training room, I'm like, Flea, man, I think my toe is broke. And he said, well, let's get an x-ray and figure it out. So we do the x-ray, sure enough, my toe is broke. So immediately we start going into trying to figure out, how can we get me on the field? Because I'm going to play, right? I'm not going to let a broken toe keep me out of the game. So here we are, Flea is scrambling, trying to figure out, how can we get Charles on the field? So he starts grabbing different shoes of mine, and he starts cutting the shoes up, trying to figure out how can we get Charles in the game. And so finally we came up with a plan where he cut out the side of my shoe to where my pinky toe could sit out by itself and not be encumbered by the shoe, and then put a cast over the outside of that shoe, and that's how I played the game. So, Flea, I mean, you're a genius. But one of my good friends, me and Flea, we talk from time to time, talk about the state of the Packers and what's going on here. So we're in constant contact. But a big part of my career here and what I was able to do on the field, Flea had a lot to do with that. So Flea, I thank you, man, from the bottom of my heart. My wife and my two boys couldn't be here. We're going through a crazy time, of course, with COVID. My youngest, he, tested positive. He's doing fine, though, but, couldn't travel, couldn't be here tonight. But I just want to say I love you to my boys, Charles and Chase, to my wife, April. My boys were born, to my time here in Green Bay. My youngest was born the year we won the Super Bowl. I remember getting a call. I'm in a team meeting, and my wife's mother was in town. She called me. She said, Charles, April's in the hospital. She's having a baby. I'm like, wait a minute. She's not due for another month. And so I get the call. I'm in the meeting. I rush out. I tell Flea, tell the coach I'm gone. I'll tell you about it later. I go to the hospital. My youngest son, Chase, was born. He was a month early, premature, but he was born here in Green Bay. Like I said, he's healthy. So my family, my wife got married while I was in Green Bay, had both of my kids while I was in Green Bay. So Green Bay will always have, a special, place in my heart, for the rest of my life. So I certainly appreciate everyone here. Dr. Sipes, who's he's in the crowd somewhere. He delivered my son. There he is back there. He's been coordinating and helping us get back and forth, from the hotel over here. And for me, I'm looking out over the crowd, and I just want to, have a chance to kind of thank a few people. I'm so happy to see my man, George Kuntz. Got to tell you a quick story. Me and Kuntz, man, I got here to Green Bay. I signed the deal, and we were at a restaurant. I forget the name of the restaurant, but me and Kuntz were sitting there. We're talking, and on the side of us, there's a partition kind of like that right there, and there was a table on the other side of it, and there's a guy over there, and I mean, he's talking about me like a dog. I mean, I can't believe Green Bay signed Charles Woodson, this and that, and I'm sitting there listening to this guy, and I got to a point, I said, you know what? I'm about to go handle this, Kuntz. So I stood up, and the way the table was, I had to walk past Kuntz, and so I got up, wiped my mouth, walked by him, he grabbed my arm, and he said, Charles, please, man, don't do it. And I looked at him, and I could see the concern in his eyes, and I said, all right, Kuntz, I won't do it. So George Kuntz, you possibly saved my career in Green Bay before it ever got started. So, you know, when it comes to my time here, it's been said a million times how it started, but it was, in large part, my transition was made a little smoother because of George Kuntz. George, man, he took me under his wing, and he just began to introduce me to people around, the state of Wisconsin, man, and to where I felt comfortable being here. Of course, starting to play the game and making some plays helped as well. But, man, being able to talk to him every day, having him in that locker room, I don't know which way it would have went, had it not been for George Kuntz. So thank you again, man. I love you, bro. I want to thank Mark Murphy and Kathy Dworick. Where's Kathy at? Is Kathy here? Tony Fisher. Hey, a couple of weeks ago, Hall of Fame. Kathy called me when I was getting inducted when she knew I was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. She said, hey, the Packers, we want to do your party. I said, cool. So from that day on, the planning got started. And, man, you guys did an unbelievable job, man. I can't tell you how many people, talked to me, since then and talked about what a great time they had and how awesome and sexy the party was. So, Mark and Kathy and Packers, man, I thank you, for an unbelievable party and welcoming me into the Pro Football Hall of Fame and then now, of course, into the Green Bay Packer Hall of Fame. Coach LaFleur, appreciate you. Coach had me out to talk to the team today. I got a chance to stand in front of these men and just give them a little bit of, how I feel about, the state of the Packers, the team that I see amongst these guys, the players that they have. And, I mentioned to him, I was on the sideline talking to Davante Adams, and Davante feels really good about this team. And so I relayed that to the other guys, right? That he believes that this team could get it done. So if they believe it, then it shall be done. So you guys look forward to the Packers bringing home a Super Bowl this year. But, Coach, I appreciate it. Appreciate you bringing me out today. Where's Red Batty at? Is Red Batty in here? Red, where you at? Red Batty's not here? All right. That's cool. T-Bone, is T-Bone in here? There's T-Bone. I just want to thank some of the people that, every day I walked around and took care of me while I was here. T-Bone was one of those guys, I would see him in the morning, and I would always say, T-Bone, top of the morning to you. And you would say, and the balance to you, kind sir. T-Bone, I love you, man. I appreciate it. Sorry, Red's not here, but Red, me and we used to always have a back and forth where we were going into a game, and I would say, Red, he would ask me, Charles, what are we gonna do today? I said, Red, we're gonna beat the brakes off of them. So that was kind of like our little back and forth. Tim Odie, equipment, always making sure that all the players had what we need. All of the people who worked in the locker room, really, when I got here, I didn't understand, coming from, Oakland, the people then, as far as the locker room and making sure that your locker was tidy and put together, Al can attest to this. You know, sometimes you come to your locker and sit down and you take something off. In Green Bay, before you can set it on the ground, they already picked it up and put it in the dryer. You're like, hold on, wait a minute, I need that, you know? So I want to thank everybody in the staff, in the equipment room, in the locker room that made sure that everything we needed, man, we had. That anytime we came to work, all we had to do was think about football. And that's what it was about here. This is a football town, man. And the Packers made sure that every time you came to work, it's all you had to worry about. And I appreciated that. And I feel like I was able to thrive. Al and the rest of our team were able to thrive because you guys made it easy for us to thrive. So I appreciate you for that. Al, my main man, I want everybody to look at the program right here. I just showed Al this earlier. I don't know if this is the game, but is this the game? So one time we're in a game, and Al makes a tackle or something, and he gets up. And he walks over to me. He's like, Wood, man, I got something in my eye. And I'm like, Al, what does that mean, man? What you want me to do about it? He's like, man, you got to blow in my eye, man. You got to blow it out. And I'm like, you really want me to blow in your eye, man? He's like, yeah. So I'm on the field, and, you know, he pulled his helmet up, and I'm sitting there like, I can only imagine, you know, the people that were really watching this closely, you know, what they were thinking, like, what in the hell is going on the football field, man? What have the Packers gotten themselves into? But you know what? I think that really just goes to show you, you know, the type of relationship that myself and Al had, and really, you know, our entire secondary. You know, we had each other's back. You know, we pushed each other. You know, every day I came to practice, I had to watch Al. I told this story earlier as well. As Lionel Washington, he told me when I first got here, he said, Charles, Al is not going to let you outwork him. And that was really my first introduction to Al Harris. And I saw that every single day. Every day we went out, man, and worked as hard as we could. But I worked even harder because Al Harris. You know, he was a great teammate, but he was a great motivator in terms of being able to see a guy across the field from me giving it 100% each and every single time he touched the field. When I got here, didn't know anybody, reluctant to be here. I spent a lot of time with Al, his family, his wife, his son, who's 16 right now. Like I said, I haven't seen him in years. His dad invited me over, always welcomed me into their house, you know, for food, Thanksgiving, whatever it was. I knew I always had a place to go, always had a home here if my family was not able to be around. So, Al, to your family, man, I thank you, man. I love you, bro. Congratulations to you. I want to thank the Santagas, Greg Santaga, and my friends, my brother, Billy, Ted. I can't believe I just mentioned y'all, but I did. Okay. But again, when you talk about this community and the friends that I've made here, you know, they're a big part of it. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Jim and Linda Andrews, you know, we've been doing this tournament, this golf tournament for 10 years here in Green Bay. Not a lot of people know about it. I've ran into a couple of people who didn't know, but now we got a lot of people that know now that we've been doing a tournament at Thornberry Country Club for the last 10 years, raising money, you know, for my fund, and then also teamed up with Dr. Ryan Purveyor, who's now a partner as well. And every year, I'm here, third week of July, Thornberry Creek tournament, raising good money, playing golf. We've added a little cigar and wine to it as well. So it's a lot of fun. So if you get a chance next year, we'll be back. Jim, you taking all calls, right? Talk to Jim Andrews, he'll get you together. But look, man, I'm so thankful. It's been a great ride. It was a great 7 years here. And so tonight, let's put it to rest, right? We understand what it was when I got here. We understand that it was a little shaky at the start. It don't matter no more. We're in the Hall of Fame, right? So no more talk about how it was when I got here. Let's talk about what it is now. We are in the Green Bay Packer Hall of Fame. I thank each and every one of you. I love you. Go Pack, go.